Good afternoon, one and all. I am Sowjanya, working as Assistant Professor in CSC Department. Today, I am going to explain about a topics in software process and project management. So here, what is meant by software process? So software process is a set of activities for specifying, designing, implementing, and testing a software system. So this is an abstract representation of a process that presents a description of a process from some particular perspective. So here what is meant by project management? So project management is nothing but the practice of initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing of the work in order to achieve the specific goals. So this software project management is going to refer the branch of project management dedicated to the planning, scheduling, resource allocation, execution, tracking, and delivery of software and web projects. So mainly this software process and project management going to explain what are the steps to be followed in order to develop a project and what are the roles and responsibilities of the members present in developing the project. So here, basically, the project manager is going to play a crucial role here. So for that, the main roles and responsibilities of the software project manager are planning, leading, time management, budget, execution, and maintenance. So these are the 6 roles or the 6 tasks a software project management manager has to be handled. So he is only the responsible person in order to develop the project and to hand over the project. So initially, the project manager has to perform these following tasks. The first one is planning. Here, in this planning task, he has to maintain the blueprint of the entire project from ideation to fruition. What is this ideation to fruition? Ideation in the sense from our ideas to be documented. So it will define the scope and it is going to allocate the necessary resources and it is proposing the timeline for developing the project and it is going to plan the execution and what is the layout of that project. And in the planning section, it is going to propose the necessary steps for testing and maintenance of the project. And the second task is leading. Leading is nothing but the project manager will act as the lead for the project team. Means he is going to assign the tasks to the members present in the development team and he is going to allocate what are all the required things in order to develop the project. And under leading team, he is, the leading team consists of the developers, analysts, testers, graphic designers, and technical writers. Mainly, the leading team is going to have excellent communication skilled people and who is having the leadership qualities. So these people will be present in the under his team. Time management. So basically, the time is the important factor in order to go develop the project. So why the time is important here? So within the specified span of time, the manager has to hand over the project to the customer. So these skills are also being presented here. And the time management is the challenging skill here. And the next task is execution. So here, the project manager will going to supervise the execution of each stage of the project. So here, completely he has to check the monitoring progress of the project and he has to visit the teams frequently to know the status of the projects. And the next one is budget. Like traditional project managers, the software project managers are tasked with creating a budget for the project. So they has to stick on that budget and they need to spend moderatingly. Suppose if any reallocation of funds are necessary, compulsory, they need to reallocate. So in this task, the budget will be monitored. And the next one is maintenance. So here, in the maintenance section, in order to discover the budget and the works free project has to be delivered to the customer. And the customer needs to be adjusted here in the maintenance section. So the target of this maintenance section is going to hand over the developed project to the customer without any bugs. So here the software project manager is responsible for ensuring proper and consistent testing, evaluation, and fixes are going to be made. So these are the 6 major tasks the software project manager has to be performed in developing a project. So here, the next one is the project management. So the project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques of project activities to meet the project requirements. Here, the project management process contains 4 stages: feasibility study, project planning, project execution, and project termination. So each phase contains its own responsibilities. So in the feasibility study, it is going to explore the system requirements. So what are the system requirements here is the economical feasibility, operational feasibility, and technical feasibility. The several fields of study has been implemented here. What is economic feasibility? Like our budget. Operational feasibility is nothing but planning, design, coding. Technical feasibility is nothing but testing and maintenance. So these are completely present in the feasibility study. The goal here is to determine whether the system can be implemented or not. In the feasibility study, it is going to take the requirement details as the input, which are specified by the user, and any other domain-specific related data has been considered as input here. So the output is what are the project-related constraints. So additionally, in the feasibility study, all the risks have been evaluated before starting of the project. Suppose based on the decision whether we are going to start the project or not, this feasibility study will give the report whether we have to start the project or we have to drop the project. And the next one is project planning. So in project planning, a detailed plan stating stepwise have been listed here. So in planning, the planning consists of the following activities. What are the activities here? Set objectives or goals, develop strategies, develop project policies, determine courses of action, making planning decisions, set procedures and rules for the project, develop a software project plan, prepare budget, conduct risk management, document software project plans. So these are the different planning activities to be considered in order to develop a project. So initially, the first and the basic step for project planning is we need to set the objectives and goals of the project. For the setted objectives goals, what are the strategies required? And what are the project policies to be developed? And what are the courses of action to be taken in order to develop a project? And what are the planning decisions? So these are all to be set. I mean, these are all the activities to be carried out in project planning. In addition to that, we need to develop a software project plan. We need to assign the budget to develop the project. And suppose if any risks are occurred, how we need to manage those risks. So that risk management team has also been developed here. And what are the different project plans? So these are all being represented in project planning phase. And the next one, once the project planning has been done, we move on to the project execution. So here in project execution phase, first we have to choose an appropriate software development lifecycle. So based on the model we have chosen, the project will develop in a good manner. I mean, in a good condition. So here, what are the steps going to be included in a SDLC lifecycle is requirement analysis, design, coding, testing and implementation, testing, delivery, and maintenance. So these are the different steps to be carried out in developing a project based on the software development lifecycle model. So here, we need to consider number of factors while doing, including the size of the system, nature of the project, time and budget constraints, domain requirements, etc. Suppose if we have chosen any inappropriate SDLC, it is going to lead to the failure of the project. So to success the project, compulsory we need to choose appropriate SDLC model. If any inappropriate model we have chosen, it leads to failure of the project. So the next phase is project termination. So there are several reasons for terminating the project. Sometimes on successful completion also the project may be terminated. Why? Because the requirements may not be fulfilled completely. The project has success, but all the requirements may not be fulfilled here. So within the specified time, we may not able to deliver the project. This is also one of the reasons to terminate a project. Like this, we have some of the reasons for failures. Changing in the technology, project running out of time, organizational politics. The customer will change the requirements frequently, and project exceeding the budgets. So these are all several reasons for terminating a project. Suppose if the project got success, we are delivering that project to the customer. Suppose if the project has been terminated, compulsory we need to do the analysis, post-performance analysis. So here it is going to describe the experiences, the lessons learned, recommendations for handling future projects. So these are different feasibility studies. And the next one is software process maturity. So before going to learn about this, we are going to know about process improvement cycle. So this process improvement cycle will have 3 phases, which is a software process, improvement strategy, capability determination. So these 3 will going to assess. Why the assessment has been required here is to improve the process. In each and every phase, we are going to assess that phase. Compulsory, if any drawbacks are there, any risks are there, we can able to find it immediately so that we can improve them. So for that, this process improvement cycle has been present. So what are the capabilities? Software capabilities are required to improve here is understand the current status of the development process or processes, develop a vision of the desired process, establish a list of required process improvement actions in order of priority, produce a plan to accomplish these actions, and commit the resources to execute the plan. So here, the maturity framework developed with these 5 steps or by characterizing a software process into one of 5 maturity levels. So these process improvements will be presented in software maturity, process maturity levels. So here, initially we are going to understand what is the current status of their development process and what are the requirements. And here it is going to produce a plan and what are the resources to be committed here to execute the plan. So these has been implemented in the process maturity levels. So here the process maturity levels are of 5. Those are initial, repeatable, defined, capable, efficient. So initial means the starting point for use of a new or undocumented repeat process. So at the initial phase, we don't know what are the requirements required in order to develop the process. In the repeatable phase, this phase is also called as managed. So here, the process is at least documented. At least documented in the sense, what are the initial things required in order to develop the process. So here, based on those, the repeating of the same steps may be occurred. So, and then defined. And the third one is defined. So here, the process is defined or confirmed as a standard business process. So here, it is going to define the process based on the documented in the repeatable level. And the next one is capable. What is meant by capable? So this capable is also called as quantitatively managed. So what is meant by quantitatively managed is, here the processes all are measured and controlled. Means the information required in order to develop the process has been obtained here. And the next one is efficient. Efficient means process management includes deliberate process optimizations or improvements. So here mainly it is focusing on improvement, the process improvement. So in detail, we can able to learn about each maturity level here. So the first one is maturity level 1, which is called as initial. So these maturity levels all are of predefined set of process areas. So here it is going to achieve the specific and generic goals of each process areas. The organization does not provide a stable environment here. Completely, the success of this organization will be depends on the people in the organization who are going to produce the products and who are going to provide the services for doing the work. So they frequently exceed the budget and schedule of their projects. So at maturity level 1, here we are going to commit the project. Commit the project. So at maturity level 1, just it is the temporary one where the requirements has been specified. Next, at the second level, it is managed. So at maturity level 1, an organization has achieved all the specific and generic goals of the maturity level 2 process areas. So here from level 1, what are the things required in order to develop the process? Those are all will be gathered here. The requirements are managed and the process are planned, performed, measured and controlled. So the managing in the sense, we are going to plan how to develop the process, how to perform and how to control. So these are all the things to be happened at maturity level 2. And at maturity level 2, the requirements, process, work products and services all are managed. Here, the status of the work products and the delivery of the services are visible to management at defined points. At level 3, this level 3 is called as defined. Defined in the sense, so what are the planning things, controlled things, measured things, these are all will be there. Those are all will be described here. Described in the sense, they all will be understood and they are described in standards, procedures, tools, and in methods. So the process descriptions have been defined here and the procedures related to that process has been specified here. So the specific and generic goals of the defined maturity level has been presented here. Next, fourth one is quantitatively managed. So here at maturity level 4, an organization has achieved all the specific goals of process areas and it is going to select the sub-process which are present in order to improve the overall process performance. So the sub-process all are controlled and they are using statistical and quantitative techniques. Here at maturity level 4, the quantitative objectives for quality and process performance are established and it is going to implement the needs of the customers, end users, organizations, and process implementers. These are all fulfilled at level 4. And finally, and the last maturity level is optimizing. So, in previous maturity levels, all the required goals, specific goals, all have been assigned and obtained. So here the processes are continuously improved based on the quantitative understanding of the common causes of variations inherent in processes. The improving process performance will be incremental and innovative technology improvements. So here the organization is well established, continuously revised to reflect changing business objectives. So finally, the process improvements have been done at maturity level 5. So here in this process maturity levels, each level is going to perform their tasks to get the process improvement, to obtain the improvement in process. Thank you.